Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
Alright, y'all, welcome back to SCR's Race Channel, ERC. As you can see, we have the tires off all the way around. We're about to make some adjustments. We're going to change ride height and add a bunch of weight to the back. So that being said, see how that goes. So right now, I pulled the wheels off last night, and we have to replace a couple studs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I pulled the brake system off, everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and get that going. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this all on a time lapse so that way you can see it. And I'll back these things out, put the new studs in, put the brake system back on. We should be good to go. And then pick up the weight system this weekend, hopefully, unless I find some other deals. And I'll go ahead and get the electric glue gun out and burn them in the back and set them in there. So we'll see how this goes. We're definitely going to be over the axle with the weights. The weights need to be over the axle with this car, with the torque arm set up so that way it basically it's gonna separate. And then it'll separate in the front end and come up. So
have you ever had a dream that you
just little adjustments we've learned. Hey, thanks to Nick at Mac TV, by the way. If you're not following them, you go follow Mac TV because them boys are on point. So we're going to get started on this Yardbird. All right, as you can see, these are the studs that were bad. So I already cut them off with a saw, so that way the bad threads didn't get in as we're coming through the axle hub there. So now I'm going to start taking apart the brake system to get this out of the way, pull those out, put the new studs in, and then we can go back together. And now I'm just waiting to get the weight in the car, and then I can adjust the ride height. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and put this on a time lapse and we'll get it done. All right, so as y'all can see, we got the 2 new studs in. That was good. I ended up smashing my finger, whatever, with the electric ratchet, but it happens. So at this point, once I get the weight, then I can adjust these Viking Performance coilovers in the rear. And I really can't adjust the front until I get the weight in the back. So that way I can have the ride height in the back right, and then I can get it right in the front. So for the most part, right now it looks like we are at a stopping point for the night. So we got all that done. Putting a couple new studs in, that's about it. Other than that, I think that's all we got for the night until we get our weight in the car. We get the weight we're going to pick up this weekend, and oh Lord, here she comes. Super K is walking in. But basically what I'm saying is that's all we can do tonight. Get these. Oh, you're going to walk off now? Make me look like a liar? And get all that. That's all put together. And once we get the weight in the back of the car, like I said, I can adjust the front and the back. So we're kind of at a standstill till then. So the plan is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a weight bar. I'm going to grind this down and then put a weight, I shouldn't say a weight bar, but basically the end of a dumbbell. Not dumbbell, dang it. What do you call the thing when you do your chest stuff? Bench press thing. I don't go to the gym. She does, not me. So I'm going to put that there, and I'll weld it in there. One on this side, one on that side. Like I said, if y'all follow Mac TV, you'll see Alan's car. This is kind of where I'm getting this set up from. And that way when I put the weights in there, I can screw them down and they'll be locked in. And that way they won't go anywhere. And that's the plan. And they give us enough room on each side of this so I'm not sitting here hitting this pump, because I didn't cut this out. Somebody else cut this out, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. What the heck was that song? But other than that, yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna do. So I'll burn in. What I'll do is I'll get the bench press bar. There we go. I'll cut it off and then weld it in here, so that way I can tie it down. So make sure it's secure. So Super K is like, she's like, don't show me. She hasn't been to the gym today. But so that's kind of where we're at right now. And then I'll still have a little bit of weight tucked in each corner. And then we'll go from there. Other than that, I think that's about all we got for this evening. And the dogs are ready to chill. She's ready to chill. So basically this is what we got. Roughly about 220 pounds. And so my plan is I can take these things and then cut them off. All right. And then take it and weld this into the back of the car. And then I can stack all these weights on top of that. And then with these nuts, I can lock them down. Sorry if it's a little dark, I don't have the lights on. So basically I will put one pole here, one there, and then stack them there. And then that way, this is gonna be roughly about 220 pounds back here, plus whatever we have on the sides over here for ballast. And then what I plan on doing, if need be, that hurt, is taking these smaller ones here, like the little things like this, and then I can cut that off and weld that to the rear end if need be, if we need more weight underneath the car. So that's kind of the game plan. Now it's just a matter of closing the trunk lid and measuring it and cutting it and then burning it in. All right, so the plan here is I'm gonna take this Sawzall. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this right here. And what I did was I measured over here on the car. I don't know if you can see it down there. Oh yeah, you can see the dot in there. That's where the two 25-pound plates will be centered. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut these off. And then when I cut them off, I will sit here and I'll take this and I'll weld it to the car right there. Probably do that tomorrow night. So I got a guy from work who's gonna give me a welder, let me borrow it. Little flux core thing, that's all you really need. And then, yeah, and that's where I'll be able to stack the weight up here. So I have 220 pounds, like I said earlier, and then I'll stack 110 of it right here. Then I'll take the other end, do the same thing, cut that off, and then stack it on the other side, and then whatever weight I can get in the side of the car. Plus I still use factory fuel tanks, so I'll have that fill it up with fuel. That'll give me more ballast too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing cut. All right, so I got them cut off now, both of them here. And so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get the grinder out and get that going and grind these down so that way I can weld them in tomorrow. All right, y'all. So after an attempt to weld in these bars last night, I tacked them in place. And then once they were tacked in place, I kind of grabbed them. Realized it was a little bit flimsy because that sheet metal that's there above the gas tank is pretty thin. So let me turn this on. Right here you can see I had to cut the welds out and I ended up cutting a hole in this metal here a little bit. But what I'm gonna do is put a 5x5 square piece of steel here, similar like we do for the cage. I'm gonna put that in there, weld that in to give it a little bit more stability. One here, one on that, one on the other side. Then that way, when I weld on the weight bar, it's gonna have a little bit more structure to it and it's not going to be flimsy. So at this point, now I'm gonna go ahead and cut out some 5x5 square pieces of steel and go from there. All right, so I cut one of the squares out. Like I said, it's going to go over that area. I've already traced out another one. I mean, they're just like 5x5 squares here, so trace out another one out of this. I'll go ahead and take right angle cutting wheel and cut them out and go from there. And like I said, we'll go on top of here and this will spread out that weight so that therefore it's not just on that thin sheet metal. This is going to secure it to the sheet metal. Of course, I'll clean this all up here in a minute, take all the paint off. We should be good to go. So on to cutting on the second piece. See how it goes. Maybe I'll throw a blanket over the car so it doesn't throw sparks all over it, mess up the paint. What little bit of paint I have.
I don't think you're gonna mess up that paint.
It's not the only good part of the car.
Yeah, it's the side. At this point, he's not gonna paint it. I think it's crazy.
They will wrap it, not. now we got both these pieces. I'm gonna stick them in the vise, clean them up with a flapper wheel, and then set them on the back of the car, grind down what we need to do to get the paint off of it, grind down that area, and then we'll go ahead and tack them in and see what it looks like. So that's kind of where we're at now. So we got our plates cut out, we got them in position here, everything, all the paint's taken off of them. So what I'm gonna do now is basically trace them out. Like so. To get my area where I need to clean all this paint off. It doesn't have to be exact because so at this point now I'll just pull these things off, clean all the paint off of it, and then weld them in, cover this up, and we should be good to go. So, all right. All right, we've got our plate in place, everything's grinded down. I'm going to attempt to tack this thing down. Alright, well, I thought I was going to get both these welded in tonight, and my dumb ass ran out of wire. So, I got one partially welded in. Granted, it's flux core, so it's always going to look ugly, and I'm not a welder, but I'll get some more wire, and it looks like we're going to have a part 2 of this one. All right, so we got everything welded in. Now I'm adding all this weight. And the best part about this is it's directly over the axle. So if you look at it, you go back over here and you can see, and then back up a little bit, you can see it's directly over the axle. So this is about the best way to do it, is get this directly over the axle or all in the back. Either way, I have a little bit of weight back here, this, and this should help us get a little bit more traction, because before all we had was what, 50 pounds back here. So now we got all the weight in here. So we have roughly 220 pounds, 110 on each side of the pump, plus our 50 back here, so about 270 pounds in it. I'm gonna go ahead and, this project has taken way too long, but it's done. So other than that, hey, comment, like, subscribe. This is a work in progress. This has been what, I took 12 years off from racing, now I'm back going at it again. We went no prep, so if you have any suggestions, let us know. We'll see y'all.
Thank you.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's fact.